Sean. I hope dearly that you can hear me. I hope that it's coming through this microphone, but because I'm live streaming from my phone, I can't really monitor the audio or anything like that. But tonight, we're packing. I've got an interview shoot tomorrow and then 5 interviews on Thursday. And so need to get all the gear packed, ready to go, make sure that I have everything to shoot, get the audio and light. Practically anything. I don't know what these rooms are going to be like. I don't know what I'm going to be working with. So that's what we're doing, making sure we've got everything on the checklist that we need, piece by piece, and then not on video, I'm going to load it in my truck. But feel free to ask any questions as I go through this. That's sort of the point here. If there's anything, any suggestions you've got, any questions on why I use certain things or why I do this process before I load my truck, please chime in. First things first, where is my clipboard that has my checklist on? Here we go. My checklist is now slightly outdated as I've upgraded a lot of my lights. But we're going to go through this and just make sure we have everything. And that's the fun we're having tonight. Ooh, that's bouncy. Thanks for joining. So pretty simple. The first part, I have my checklist separated into some sections here. I've got camera gear, microphones and audio, lights, support, and this is like tripod, stabilizers, sliders, that sort of stuff. Support, drone, grip and electric, and then what I call bonus stuff over here. So we're just going to go straight down this list and make sure that we have everything. And there's some really simple stuff on here, but if you've never done this before, you may recall situations where you forgot something like a memory card or a battery, and so every little thing is on here so that I never have to rely on my brain or my memory, especially when I'm fried. So let me bring you over and do my best to keep my own concentration. Ta-da. So we've got the camera bag here. So going down the top of the list, first of all, camera. This is cameras, but I only own one camera right now, the A7S III. I've got the camera. Batteries, I have no batteries in here, but over here on my charging station, I have 3 batteries ready to go. And my batteries, I really should do something different or more thoughtful, but I end up just throwing my charged batteries there, and I put one on the camera. And I think if I had a ton of batteries, or if I was shooting stuff that lasted days and days, I would have 2 containers or put things on them. Sometimes I put like pink tape on the batteries when they're charged, and then before I put them in the camera, I take the pink tape off. But I'm only shooting 1 interview tomorrow. I won't even use 10% of this battery. So this is all overkill for tomorrow, but for Thursday, it's going to matter. So camera, check. Batteries, check. Lenses, check. I have 3 lenses with me. The 24-70 G Master f2.8, the 70-200 G Master f2.8, and the 200 G Prime, or 200, excuse me, the 20 millimeter 1.8 G Prime lens. I love this lens. It's my favorite gimbal lens. We're not going to be on a gimbal much or at all tomorrow, but these are the 3 lenses that I will have. Next up is memory cards. And this is normally loaded, and I think I need to buy more memory cards and rethink how I do this and manage my data a little bit better. But typically if a card is upside down, it's something that hasn't been triple backed up yet. I usually back these cards up onto the NAR box at the end of any shoot, and then take the time to, then I put them in here upside down like this one. And after it's backed up on my computer and on my backup drive, then I feel comfortable recording over it. So all those are good to go. I'll put those there, and actually I'll take this guy and put it in the camera just so we're ready to roll for tomorrow. Save myself 10 seconds in front of a client, and then same thing, this is the audio card for my audio, but we'll get to that later. Just putting it in there for now. So check memory cards. Next up, chargers. A lot of this things on this list I'm going to say and then not get. but they're on this list because there's times when I do need it. I'm not going to need a charger tomorrow, so no chargers. Screwdriver / multi-tool, check. Cleaning kit, lens cloth. Cleaning kit is just that blower, and I've got a bunch of lens cloths here. Base camp ND and the mounting rings. That is here and here. That's my matte box and the polarizer and all that I like to put on my camera. Small HD monitors. I haven't been using these for most stuff lately, but we've got time tomorrow and I want it to be nice, so I am gonna load them up and bring them along. So we'll go small HD monitor. This is the 5-inch and the 7-inch. Take off the HDMI cable and little eye footage thing here, and the battery. All right, small HD monitors, check. Next up on my little checklist, it would have been nice to like put this on the screen and have you scroll along with it. But we got batteries for the monitors. That's what's next. And I have a whole thing of charged batteries over here. This one is charged. And I'm just going to throw these haphazardly into the bag for now, and I'm going to charge up a couple more that I'll grab in the morning. My battery solution has become very inelegant, but for the most part, everything like either has a Sony battery or one of the Sony LP batteries, or Sony L batteries, whatever you call these, NP. Or they have built-in, everything's got built-in batteries now. So my battery management, I used to have a bunch of AA's that I had to charge and I have separate cases for. Done with all that. So batteries, check. For the monitors, check. HDMI cables. This is the tricky part. So tomorrow I'm shooting with my A7S III and my buddy Chris's A7 III. And the A7 III has a micro HDMI out. So I think I'm going to run my camera into the big one. So this is full HDMI to full HDMI. So I've got that cable here. But then I also need, from the Magical Cable Kit, a mini HDMI to mini HDMI to go from. So this is mini to full HDMI. That's not going to work. This is mini to mini HDMI. Check. Riveting stuff here. But this is what I do before every single gig that I do. So we've got HDMI cables for both of them. Check. Next up, HDMI cables, mounting bracket, and antennas. So I'm not going to bring the mounting bracket is to mount this into the hot shoe of a camera, but I'm going to end up using a friction arm like this one. So I don't actually need that. And the antennas, I'm not going to do anything wireless between them. They'll both just be on-camera monitors, 2 monitors for 2 separate cameras. So no need for the antennas. And then lastly, and this one's important, mounting plates. So I have a mounting plate on my 7200, and I have a mounting plate on my camera body. But I like to usually have one extra. Seldom use it, but I was in a situation one time where I always keep my mounting plates on my lenses and stuff. I never keep them on the tripod. And I was working with somebody who borrowed my tripod, and they were like, "Hey, where's the mounting bracket?" I'm like, "Oh, should be on your camera." And it caused a miscommunication, and then they lent me, I had too many that were the wrong ones. It was a whole big thing. So now I just make sure I've got my mounting brackets for the Manfrotto tripods with me. Mounting plates, check. External battery. I probably will not use this, but just a little like USB charges this from my luggage. But I keep it in my bag just in case, and then I also keep my color checker, X-ray passport, and I seldom actually use this little guy. I used it once at the conference I was at a couple weeks ago, but usually I bring the big guy, and I'll get to this other piece in a minute, but in my slate bag I have a full-size color checker video that I can use. And so when I'm doing white balance for an interview, I'm going to bring the slate, which is in here anyway, so I bring that full-size card, and that's what I use instead. But that takes us through all the camera gear, everything I need. Check, done. Not on this anywhere, surprisingly, is the Narbox. And I have complicated emotions about the Narbox, which I talk about every time. But I just added to the Narbox setup 2 Samsung T7 drives. They're USB-C drives. And so now I can, before I go anywhere, take my SD card out, put it in the Narbox, and at the same time I can connect both of these drives to the Narbox and back up all my footage onto the drive inside the Narbox, onto both of these drives, and I still have the SD cards. And so it's a quick way, going back to my triple backup solution, where I then have just copies and copies and copies of all my footage, and if anything happens to any of these drives or SD cards, it's in multiple places and it's covered. So Narbox, check, that's everything in the camera bag. I'm going to cover this up for now because I'll probably store a couple extra things in it eventually. But the next section is audio. Let's tilt this up here. See if I can't make this slightly more dynamic, maybe. But the audio bag here is an ugly bag. Audio stuff is ugly. They don't make stuff as cool as they do with video. But with audio, it's pretty straightforward. I'm taking my Zoom 6. I don't like this. I want this to be better. Better, more exciting. What if we come down like this? And you can once again stare into my bag. How's that? Is that exciting? Is that better? So taking the Zoom F6 audio recorder, going down my list, Zoom F6, and then next up is memory cards. I have one extra memory card that I use for this, but I went ahead and put the memory card I'm going to use in here. That slides in there, safely nestled in. Batteries. I grabbed 2 from there. I'm going to have to grab more, but there's more on my charger for tomorrow morning. But I'll need to put batteries in here. Microphones. I'm bringing 2 microphones tomorrow. I'm bringing my NTG3 and my NT5. Oh, I'm glad I said that. Because my NT5 is over here on this boom pole. There we go. NT5 and its windscreen going in the bag. And this is, if you know my channel, it's because I made a video about this microphone and why I like this mic more than I like shotgun mics for anything indoors. So that is my preference, NTG3. But the other thing I have at my disposal, which I'm excited to continue to test, but the people at Acacia Microphones sent me 3 shotguns. They have this short shotgun, and then there's a medium shotgun and a long shotgun. And I've been testing them, and I've been super impressed. But with any new gear, it's always that thing of, I don't want to test it in front of a client for the first time. So I'm still doing my own tests on these mics, but I've been really impressed, and my last few YouTube videos have been made with this little guy. And they're all available through Sweetwater.com exclusively. It's like Sweetwater's store brand. But Acacia Microphones, so far so good, and I'm excited to do more tests. This short shotgun format is a great middle ground between the pencil condenser of the NT5 and the NTG3 shotgun microphone. And so I'm eager to sort of test this in the wild in some different situations and see how it handles the off-axis background noise without making things particularly muddy. But soon I think these microphones will be added to the kit. Let me grab the other 2. You got to see these things. Stand by, I promise it's exciting. These things are huge. The huge one's huge. This is the medium. This is like a standard 7-inch shotgun microphone. Without getting out the NTG3, you can see it's like the same size as the NTG3. It's your standard 7-inch mic, 7-inch shotgun. And this is their medium. And then they also sent me the long, which you gotta see this thing because it's quite a beast. But this is the long. And to compare it to, even in its case, this is the NTG3, like my standard shotgun. This thing is way longer. Like, this is a 7-inch mic, this is a 10-inch mic, I believe. And, does it say 10-inch? Doesn't say. But it's about 10 inches, maybe 11 inches. Maybe, I mean, I'm just talking about the capsule on the end of it. You know what? I'm in my workshop. This is a 13-inch boom microphone. And that's a long microphone. And when it's that long, it can cancel frequencies, a lot more frequencies than a traditional 7-inch shotgun microphone can. So I'm eager to try, like, this is a beast. I'm eager to try this. I just haven't yet fully tested it, and so I don't feel comfortable yet taking untested gear out. But so far in my initial tests here in the basement laboratory, impressive. Acacia microphones, 13-inch shotgun, and medium shotgun, short shotgun, Acacia microphones. Acacia is A-C-A-C-I-A. Acacia. Acacia Audio. And their shotguns are called the Liz shotguns, which I believe is some nod to lizard from something in their product line, but I don't know. But those will be added to the audio kit. I'm gonna have to figure out how to put a 13-inch microphone conveniently into this case, because as it stands, I can't really think of a good way to do that. But so I've got microphones, check. Microphone cables, I have 2 of them. I'm only gonna need 1, but I always bring a backup in case one shorts out. Windscreens, dead cats, check, check, check. I don't need this one. Technically I don't need this Zoom H1, the windscreen for the H1. This is a windscreen for my Deity VMic D3 Pro. I do have a pair of headphones, not impressive ones that I'm bringing. And yeah, that's good. Now the other big piece, and this, if you do audio and you're not a full-time audio engineer, what I've forgotten several times is the microphone clips and mounts. Where I show up, I've got a boom pole, I've got a microphone, but I have no way to connect the 2 of them. And so I have one of these RA shock mounts that either of my microphones will fit in. And so I make sure that I tuck that in here this way. And then the other piece is the boom pole is behind you here. You can't see it, but it's, I promise. Boom pole check. And then there's a little clamp that goes into the C-stand that holds up the boom pole, and a grip head that brings it all together. And I've made videos about all this stuff because it's the kind of thing where you buy a microphone and a boom pole, and then turns out there's a bunch of other stuff you need to make stuff happen. But this is the thing that the boom pole sits in, so I can extend it over the people. So there's my clamp. I've got the microphone stands, clamp, hook, clips and mounts. Check. Audio. Check. How we doing? We having fun? Live chat is popping. Welcome. Please someone throw in the live chat if there is no audio coming out of my microphone. If you can't hear me at all, I'd really appreciate knowing that. So we've got all our audio stuff. Put the grip stuff aside. Next up, we need all our audio stuff except battery, that is. But we know that. Next up is lights. And I've packed my light kit for you several times lately, and I never mind doing so. Tomorrow, I'm fortunate that the guy I'm working with, thanks man. Oh, I'm talking about you as I say this. Tomorrow, I'm fortunate that the guy I'm working with, Christopher from No Flavor Imaging, is also bringing a couple aperture Amaran lights, and I'm stoked to sort of, as much as I love my Quasar tubes, and I love how compact my kit is, the Achilles heel of my lighting kit is this 4-foot Quasar. It's a bad angle, you can't see how huge that is. 4-foot Quasar light. And I should have gotten two 2-foot Quasars instead of that long one. And I think soon I'm going to replace that or supplement it with a couple of Quasar X fades, which are their new bicolor LED tubes that use an external dimmer. They're super, super simple and they're cheap. They're like $100. And I could fit like 4 of those in my little light kit here and it would be fantastic. But for me to bring a 4th light, the lights I'm going to bring are my Quasar Double Rainbow with its power cable here. But so I've got my Quasar Double Rainbow, which I'll fit into this kit in a second. I have, oh, it's already in the box. Here, I'll show you the box. And ignore the sound of a cat in the background. But so I'm going to take my Quasar 2-foot single rainbow, my Quasar 2-foot double rainbow, which also fits in here. And then I'm going to fit my Hudson Spider in here, my Mosey. But this is what I'm talking about, where I have 3 lights. This is great. But to fit my 4-foot Quasar in here, like I just have to bring it along, carry it separately, and it's cumbersome and annoying. So I'm stoked that Chris is bringing a couple apertures that we'll be able to play with if we need to brighten up the background a little bit or highlight a couple things. And although I never thought I would, I've been bringing these little MCs, these little colorful aperture lights, just in case we're going to throw a pop of color on a shelf or something like that. I don't know quite what background we're going to be working with. But in this case, I'm going to grab all these power cables here soon. But the other big piece that we need to pack is the Mosey, which you may have seen me pack 30 or 40 times now. I feel like this has made an appearance in every live stream so far. It's just so fun. Beefy cables. This is the one thing I would tweak. This cable and screwing this on every time is sort of annoying. I wish there was like a twist lock or something, but I get there's a lot of things happening. And I'm not an engineer. But we'll take off the umbrella. And I should do the math because it'd be nice to fit an umbrella in this light case instead of having to put it in my stand case, but I'm getting greedy. The fact that this entire amazing 3-point lighting kit fits into this little briefcase is bonkers. Let me spin this around. I have to assume that every time I do this on a live stream, if there's new people here, it's the first time they're seeing one of these. They're just fun. They're just fun, convenient, fantastical, awesome lights, which you'll note in a moment. Let me swing this around one more time. Shoop. This whole big thing just... Ooh, sorry, right on the mic. This whole thing just nestles gently inside this case, happy and snug. And then, bigger than the light, is the power supply and ballast for this thing. This is so beefy and heavy. But, in spite of being crazy beefy and heavy, once I take off and unscrew these cables, again, the only annoying part of this light. And it's sort of recessed in here, so I like hit my knuckles on the edge of the metal every time I do it. Still love it though, it's worth it. I could wear a glove. But this thing fits right down in here. All snug. I'm gonna flip the other way. Sometimes it fits snugger than I remember. Alright, that's in. And then the other piece is the power supply. Yeah, if they could fix this, I say fix, but if they could change this power supply into a more reasonable piece of gear, like these cables are just so unruly. But here in this light case, these two things are the biggest, heaviest things, which seems like a fixable problem. Or maybe as the world continues to develop, this will get iterated and improved. But until then, this is what we're working with. And we've got, it's even a pain to coil this cable. Power cables. Crazy. So, we have power cables, power cables, power cables. Power cable for the other quasar. And again, I think I would put the stuff for my 4-foot quasar in here if I didn't have Christopher and his 2 extra lights tomorrow. So, light kit. Everything in here is everything I need to turn on these 3 lights, set stuff up. I have all the connectors and baby pins and everything, the pins for the quasars here. So yeah, good setup. Everything I need contained in this one case. Close this up. This case is ready to go. It is not a light case. It is compact, but it is not light. So the last thing that I need, let me pull you back up. Join me, won't you? I want to bring that umbrella, and somewhere is a bag for that umbrella. Might be here in the stand case. Not pictured tonight because it's already in my truck is my innovative 36-inch Voyager NXT cart, which I just don't know how to live without at this point. But I'll show you my stand case, which is the last really pivotal piece of gear that I bought before getting the cart, where if you're a producer, stands are the worst part. And even now, like, I have C stands and I love the functionality that I get out of them, but they're heavy, they don't pack well, they're cumbersome. Like, even though they don't pack well, you also can't carry a lot of them at once. Like, you can sort of safely carry 2. And so to bring 4 stands takes 2 trips, and for me, that means up the basement steps, out the front door, across my front yard, and out to the street to my truck, which is annoying, and I don't like it. So that's what I'm dealing with. So for me, having a stand case that I can fit a bunch of things in makes that a heavy single trip. What up, Julia? I made Julia buy stands. I didn't make her. She saw my stands in my stand case here, and if you haven't yet, you get to see my whole outfit tonight. Rocking the shirt with some pretty serious Ultimate Frisbee shorts. 7-foot umbrella. I keep a sound blanket in here. This is really a furniture blanket. It doesn't actually function well as a sound blanket. I don't bring sound blankets most of the time. I'm only going to take one boom pole, and this one doesn't lock, that one knuckle, which is annoying. This one instead is broken. These are both Rode boom poles. This one is broken in a different way, but I'd rather have this one than the other one. So that goes in, and then I have these Manfrotto light stands, and this is what Julia may have just added to her kit. But they're light stands that fold up and then store nested, and they click into each other. And I'll show you. I was using one to hold up my boom microphone for a video I was making down here the other day. But you can see this, it's a big beefy light stand. You can see all the way down, like, it's a wide base. and a sturdy light stand. But what makes it unique is that the 3 legs, instead of folding up into a round set of legs like a tripod does, when I fold these up, they form a little line. So they lay flat, and because of that, I can tighten that down, and then they click together with these other ones. So I have 3 of them that are now stuck together. And I can't begin to explain how wonderful and handy that is. But that also fits perfectly in this SKB case. And this SKB case, I talked about this on the last stream, I think, or 2 streams ago. This is a drum hardware case. So it's for holding like cymbal stands and stuff. I'm not a drummer, but it was a big enough case. So I can fit my 3 light stands. I have a boom pole in here. I'm gonna put a tripod in here. And I use this load blanket sort of every time I put something in, I just fold it again so that nothing rubs against other things. So those are in there. I'm gonna put 3 light stands, boom pole. I'm gonna take one of these cheap light stands. This is a Cowboy Studio Amazon purchase. These things are horrible and they're falling apart and they never adjust smoothly. But you get what you pay for. And I'll put that in there. And Chris is bringing a tripod, so I'm only going to bring 1 tripod. And then I'm going to throw, I have a 42-inch umbrella. This is what was on the Spider when I took that apart. And then this becomes a 7-foot umbrella. And I'm not sure if we'll use this, but to be able to turn that Hudson Mosey into a 7-foot light, a 7-foot soft source is a pretty ridiculous thing. And all it takes is something that fits diagonally across the top of my stand case like this. And so with this little piece like this, now I have all the stands and tripods in one, albeit heavy, but rollable case. So that is my stand case. So I've got my stands, I've got my lights, I've got my camera kit. Let's revisit our checklist. Sorry about that shake. So we've got camera gear, check. Microphones, check. Lights, Hudson Spider Mosey, Quasar Rainbow, yeah. Umbrellas, power cables. I'm not taking any batteries. I've got the tube clamps, check. Next up, support. I'm not taking the DJI RS2 because we're just shooting a seated interview tomorrow, so there's no reason to do any B-roll on a Ronin or anything like that. So don't need the Ronin. Don't need the Rhino, which is my slider. And then any of the cables of that. Tripods, I have 1 tripod. This says tripods, how many? Because there have been times when I have not brought enough. But I'm bringing 1. Chris, you're bringing 1. If you're watching this still, please don't forget your tripod because I'm only bringing 1. And my tripod has a head on it. I've got the mounting plates already in my bag. I'm not bringing a monopod. Next up, drone. Not bringing a drone tomorrow. We're just doing stuff inside seated interview. And then lastly, or I guess second to lastly, grip and electric. And so this is all the power cords, cables, light stands, C-stands, diffusers, reflectors, flags, umbrellas, clamps, tape, sandbags, etc. So a bunch of this is already in my truck, but the power stuff isn't. So I'm going to back this up a tiny little bit. I'm going to continue to ignore that cat. And this is what I typically pack everything in. I have 2 of these pink crates. And so usually in the bottom, I put an extension cord or 2. Then I have some power strips. And then this canvas bag with the Boom logo on it there. This is what I put all of these grip arms and clamps, heads, all this stuff. So in here goes the grip heads, the clamps, the friction arms, there's probably better ways to store all this stuff and more gentle ways to store all this stuff, but I didn't do that. Bye, cat. So I have 2 grip heads that are going in here. I have 1 power strip. It's probably going to be plenty for this. I could take more, but I don't think I'm going to. It's just overkill. And I used to bring a bunch of like Mayfer clamps and Cardellini clamps and a whole bunch of clamps, and then it turns out I never ever used them. So I throw this in here, and then for travel purposes, probably not the best thing, but I put my map box and my filters in here. Nothing gets set on top of this, so it's not going to get broken. And then I don't need this boom pole. This can get put aside for now. I've got everything. I went through the list. I've got everything I need. We're looking good. Feeling good. How different is this from what you do? And if you pack gear, I see YouTubers and people who that light is awful. Let me come over here. I see YouTubers and other people who share their gear setups, and I see this thing where like people unload everything and they have like a shelf with every camera body and every lens lined up, and I did that for a while, and I sort of have these cabinets here that served that purpose originally. Like I had these shelves lined and I could put my lenses in here, but what I ended up doing was turning it around so that I can just put my actual full camera bags in packed on these shelves, just like so. And for the most part, as you saw when I'm packing, I'm just pulling these bags out, and then I can go through them with the checklist, point at everything and say, okay, I got this, 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 instead of grabbing each thing individually off a shelf. It just seems so, like I bet there's something nice about it where you're seeing, you're touching everything. There's a sense of confirmation or security in that. But I feel like you get the same thing by going through a checklist. Like I'm not just going to grab one of these bags and be like, this thing's good to go probably, because that's why I have a checklist now, because they're not always good to go. And I've rushed to Walgreens to buy memory cards on 2 occasions, and so I don't do that anymore. But this is what I do, where I try to keep everything mostly packed, mostly ready, unless I'm obviously set up down here doing stuff in the studio. That way I can grab these bags, go down the checklist pretty quickly. And I think if I didn't have to pack the lights, and if I didn't have to pack the stands and the grip, then it would have been pretty easy to see that I could open up these bags, confirm that things are in them, confirm mainly that I have batteries and memory cards, everything else is in there, and then I can load it and go. And that works for me. So that is the gear that I use for the interviews. We got 1 camera. We got 3 lights plus 2 of Chris's lights, plus his camera and his tripod. We've got the audio gear, the Zoom that we're running some Rode mics into. We're going to start testing the Acacia audio mics in the weeks to come. We got our stands, all our grip gear. I got to get the C stands. There's one holding up this this camera right now, and so I need to pack that up. But I'm probably going to bring 3 C stands. I've got 1 in the truck already. I'll grab 2 more. And that'll be the kit. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Let me see. Did I miss any questions? Oh, Julio, you added some iFootage grip arms. Yeah, they're expensive, but I don't know why other companies don't have grip arms with teeth on them, but iFootage does, and it makes such a difference to just lock your monitors off or whatever. But yeah, thanks for hanging out tonight. Next week, I only have 1 little half-day shoot, I think, maybe with Julia. And other than that, it's not a lot of gear. So maybe next week we'll do something less me packing gear live, which I've been doing all too often lately because I've been working, which is not my idea. Thank you, Julia. Thanks for watching. Thanks for everything you do. Thanks for, and Christopher, if you're still here, I can't see who's watching. I can only see that there are 3,000 people watching right now. Other than that, I can't see any of their names. But these live streams have been this thing that I've been doing to like push myself out of my comfort zone. And I think I talk about that in a lot of them, where for me, having to go live. Digital Vision, I don't know your name, but you were, I think I commented on something like this while you're here. I have pink tennis balls now for my C-stands because of your contributions. But I love this, and it started as this sort of goal to just make myself a better public speaker as I stumble on my words right now, and to push myself creatively to think, how can I be entertaining? And these things aren't always exciting, they're not always well attended, they're not always high interaction, but there's always things that I learn from them, and it's a lot of fun for me. But then this other layer has been through this. Tomorrow I get to work with Christopher from No Flavor Images. I've met another Christopher who has another studio here in St. Louis, and I think he and I are going to work on something coming up together. So there's all this collaboration, and I think it's easy to look at my channel or any channel and be like, well, this was a live stream with 2 people watching the whole time, or 1 person most of the time. Is that worth it? But the fact that I'm going to meet someone new and get to work with somebody new and expand the crew and expand what we're capable of and collaborate in different ways, then that's absolutely worth it. And Julia, to have you watch and throw stuff in here, you and I didn't meet through YouTube. We met at a coffee shop somehow, which we never really figured out. But because of that, and I like that you're hanging out here, and sometime I'll tell the story about how we ate pizza standing in the rain because I was still not ready to eat inside a restaurant in Indianapolis a couple weeks ago. But while it's a tiny community, I'm very grateful for anyone who watches these, anyone who's commented, and it seems like any comment has turned into something more than just a comment, and that's a special thing. It means a lot to me. So thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for continuing to watch these, and hopefully we'll all get to work together and make stuff together, because that's the fun stuff. It's not fun to stand in my basement and pack gear while talking to my phone, but it's fun because there's people here. So thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day, night, whatever, wherever. See you later. Bye.